In today's video, we're working on day 15 of the 30-day scrap quilt challenge, circles, improv circles, raw edged, or pieced. Hi, I'm Jackie of Junk Gal 63 Studio, and here we do all things with scrap fabric. Our block for today is something I just made up, and I'm calling it the Roll the Dice Quilt Block. My circles are all applique, and I'll be attaching each one to the dice using a blanket stitch. It's stitch 33 on my Brother Pace Setter PS 500. This is going to be such a fun one. And as you know, these dice aren't rolling, but they sure are cute. For each day in this challenge, a new prompt helps you generate ideas and try something new. Anything goes. I've got a free prompt sheet for you to download. You'll find that link in the description box below. I'll be making each block 12 inches square, and on the last day, we'll complete the final block and assemble our quilt in a quilt-as-you-go fashion. And remember, no rules, no perfection. Let's get started. For our prompt today, you're going to need 6 pieces that are 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches, and I would suggest a light colored fabric. So I just selected some here, so pretty, and these will be our dice. You're going to need some fabric circles. You'll need a 3-inch one, and I already cut that one out. You will need 2 1 3/4 and 18 1.5 inch circles. You will need heat and bond light fusible interfacing, and I put that on the back and then I peeled it off. This one I haven't done yet. I wanted to show you how I did it. And then you'll just cut out your circles. You'll need an old-fashioned protractor, and this one is really old, but you'll need this so that you can make your circles and cut them out for your templates. 1 piece of batting, 12.5 inches square, 1 piece of backing fabric, 12.5 inches square, and your basic sewing notions. First of all, let me show you how I was cutting these circles out. I've got my just regular crafting scissors here, and I ironed on the heat and bond light, and then I traced my circles onto this. And we're just simply going to cut around the circle. It's kind of like a craft project, right? And then it has this paper on the back, and then you can just peel that off. Easier said than done. And it will leave a glue on the back. It's just that easy. And then to make it go faster, you can just cut them out like this, so you're not holding on to the whole piece of paper, and just cut around. And again, just try to get that paper off of the fabric like that, and your circles will be ready to go. We can put our templates to the side and hold on to those, and just in case you want to make another block like this. Let's put our circles in a pile so that we can get ready to play with those. And these will be raw edge. We're not going to do any fancy attaching. Then we're going to need our pressing surface. We'll put our protractor to the side. You have to decide how you want your dice to be. I hadn't decided, so could go like that. Like that. Or you could do all of these, and that would be perfectly fine. I think I'm going to go like this. The first dice needs the 3-inch circle. So we'll grab that. And then you can just do a quick crease in the center and a quick crease in the center So you know where that's at. And then the center of this. But honestly, we're just playing. So you could get away with placing it anywhere you want. And that looks good to me. And then you'll simply take your iron, and it looks like this. And you'll just take your iron and just press your iron on there to attach that circle. And I think that is attached. Okay. Next is the number 2. And I have 2 of those. And you can just play around with placement. But we want to keep in mind that we do have a 1/4 inch seam allowance when we sew these together. I think that looks good. And did I take the paper off? Yes, I did. That looks good. Then we need to do the number 3 dice. And those are where we would begin with the 1.5 inch. All right, I cut out 3 for the 3. It was not this one. And I'm using different fabrics for each die, but you could completely use completely different fabrics. So let's get this laid out like this. How about that? That looks good. Let's give that a press. I wanted to get you out a video tonight so that we're all caught up on our videos for the challenge. All right, we are ready for number 4. Looks like that. Now we can use these pieces. This would be a fun quilt for someone who likes to roll the dice. Maybe Yahtzee. Does anybody remember Yahtzee? I think that looks good. Now we need 5. And 5 looks like that. So 2 at the top. One in the center. Or am I using the wrong ones again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am. All right, here's the ones for the 5. There we go. And it's okay if it's a little scrappy. That's perfectly fine. All right, let's give that a press. I think that looks good. Yeah. Okay. And we have one last one, and that's the 6. And it was these ones. And here's what the 6 looks like. So we really have to squeeze those in there. And we do have to leave some space in the center for sewing our blanket stitch. And I have to be sure that I leave enough for trimming here. So it's going to be a little high, but that's okay. There we go. There's our 6. Perfect. So this is the first one I'll take to the sewing machine, and I'll do that blanket stitch around, and I'll come back and show you that. This came out so darling. I'm on to number 2. I wanted to show you my progress. How adorable are those? And I wanted to give you some tips. I have my stitch length and stitch width set to 3. And I take about 4 or 5 stitches, I lift my foot, and I pivot with the needle down to go around this circle. It makes it a lot easier because when you get to the smaller circles, it's a little more challenging, but I really like this look. It looks hand stitched. So let me get on to number 4. 4 is done. How cute. I got all 6 dice done, and I think they are so adorable. Our next step will be to sew this to this, this to this, same way with these, and then connect all the blocks. When I have that done, I'll be right back. Things happen when you are winging it. I am short my 12 inches. As you can see here, I'm just going to add some 1-inch strips, and then I will add the backing and the batting. Sorry about that, guys. That's what happens, right? But I think by adding the strip, we should be okay. Yeah, I think we'll be fine. Okay, here is what happened. I added those strips. Here's what happened. So disregard resizing your dice. I cut my dice at 4 by 6. I should have cut them at 4.5 by 6.5. So the original instructions go. I just made a mistake, but let's get this quilted. I still think it turned out so adorable. Let's get the backing laid out, right side down, our batting, and our beautiful quilt block. I am going to do a stitch in the ditch. I will go all the way around, but we'll go ahead and get these enclosed, and I'll be back to show you. I absolutely love how this turned out, even though I messed up the dice, but now I know I measured these circles correctly, and I should have had some extra room on the side. So don't make my mistake. Cut your dice at 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches, and you should be okay, and you'll get your 12 inches. Got a couple strings here before we trim up. Let's trim this up. Our center is going to be about right there. And I just got to make sure I'm going to have my 12. Yep, I think that is good. My 6 is right there. Oops, I slipped. Good there. Let's flip it around and see if we have 12 here. We do, and my 6 is still in the center. 12 and 12. And this is so darling. And I'm not worried about this because this will get enclosed when we finish the block at the end of the month. So let me know in the comments, how did we do on this cute design? Roll the dice. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a Bible verse and a final thought to encourage you. The Bible verse is from John 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. As we place our circles and stitch each one down, it reminds me how every piece of our life is held in place by God's love. Nothing is accidental, nothing is forgotten. Every detail matters to him. This block may be playful, but it reflects a beautiful truth. God's love surrounds us fully, completely, and personally. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Your kindness, your comments, and your support, they truly brighten my days more than you know. And until the next video, God bless you.